difficult to know how to judge the pace of your own play when it's genuinely hot and bouncy like this. And these players will, obviously Abhay will have a very good idea. Sebastien might be changing his tactics. It's difficult to know how aggressive to come out at. So far it's been pretty quick, fast pace, hitting through the ball.
Really does stand out, right, how bouncy the court is. Very lively court.
Yeah. Well, I think having been there, Josh, like, I mean, it's just incredible, like, the pace of the courts. I mean, they have got aircon, so it doesn't feel cold in there, but I know that front wall is fast, the floor's fast. The ball skids through a little bit on the surface. I feel like I'm talking about a cricket wicket there.
Who would you say, Ryder, that this would favour between Bonmalais and Singh here? Like, the conditions, obviously Abhay is a lot more used to these conditions, isn't he? But what stands out is how well Bonmalais is a great mover, stereotypical kind of French style of moving. Like, I think that's going to play an effect here in this match.
I mean, you would naturally kind of think the better mover is suited to the hot court, but I also think there's a big case to be said for that, highly accurate play, and the fact that Abhay's got a lovely weight of shot, because ultimately, if the quality of shot from Bonmalais is not as high quality, which it looks like it is pretty good quality, to be honest, but I think that weight of shot into the back corners is something that Abhay can really sort of latch into, and then he's making his opponent do a lot of work. So it doesn't matter how good a mover you are, if you're doing all the a lot more running into those back corners in particular, you're going to get tired.
I guess it also comes down to the options of shot, doesn't it, within that, Ryder? So the quality and the options that you're showing, you might not be using as many, you might not be going in short as much, not wanting to let the ball pop up, but how you use those options to create space becomes paramount, doesn't it, to open up the greater opportunities as the rallies go on.
Yeah, I think so. It's something I sort of alluded to in the first match on here in the women's. It's probably the shots that you don't play are just as important. So, if you are more used to playing soft drops than kills, then that might not work as well on a hot court. You might find it difficult to find that range. And to take those out of your natural game is actually quite difficult. So it's not just when you go short, it's how you go short.
Yeah, and I think that's that threat, isn't it? And then I think the other bit of it is, if you can get the strings into the ball rather than pushing through, as you said, like, that's where you can create some hurt and get the ball low and force people to hit up, which is crucial, really. You probably, the ability to get the ball right into the front corners on a court like this is very hard. So getting the ball low is almost more important.
Yeah. I mean, I personally, these days, now that I don't move as well, I prefer playing on a hot court because I think my opponent's shot's going to go further out the corners. So then I don't have to move as far. So it's not always the obvious kind of case, is it, of, the better mover dominates on a hot court. And it is a big factor here, so definitely worth kind of talking about, isn't it?
Both players staying with each other at the moment, both showing a few different aspects.
Yeah, it's interesting sort of seeing the different demeanours. I think Bonmalais really looks like he's in a hurry here. and he wants to get on with it. Whereas Abhay is pretty relaxed, isn't he? And that's sort of the player I know. He looked pretty relaxed and composed over his shot. But I feel he's being a bit rushed in this rally, isn't he? He's just sort of being made to do a bit more work than he'd like to.
Yeah, it's interesting. Both players have shown some threat around the middle, a few different options. Bonmalais clips the top of the tin there. Rolled in a couple of those where he's tried to be quite aggressive from there.
I had a look at the recent results, and Sebastien Bonmalais is he's played a few tournaments. France have managed to put on a few PSAs during lockdown, so he had one in January and one in February. Got through a few rounds in February before losing to Lucas. You know, so he's had a bit of match play. I'm not so sure about Abhay. You know, I don't think he has. This is obviously the first one in India after lockdown.
Could have done with playing that Abhay really. He was on top of him and then opened up a bit of space. If he'd hit that line, it would have kept the pressure on rather than letting the rally reset.
Yeah. I think that's, you know, it's a good move by the referees in the last few years to encourage more play, you know, and not give cheap lets for that. But it doesn't always. I think players genuinely ask for safety sometimes, and they give them no lets.
Yeah. Yeah, it's obviously a hard one on a bouncy court as well, isn't it? Because the ball shot is exaggerated.
Good hands there from Sebastien. Pretty open this, isn't it, so far? I don't think there's been too much. They've been using the both pretty well, both players, and, you know, take it in quite fast. You know, what the one thing that's missing, I suppose, here, and it's difficult to do, is like volley a lot when it's coming through at that pace. You know, but the intensity has been high. I'd say there've been a lot of half volleys. They're trying to keep that pace up.
Yeah, I think both of you some hold, which is nice to see. Like trying to open spaces at the back of the court as well as the front. And as we were saying at the start, I think it's been a really nice game in terms of how open it is. They both look to cut the ball in. That last shot there from Abhay was beautiful.
That was a good lift, wasn't it? Considering, but then he threw his opportunity away, I feel.
That's the third decision there, Ryder, in the front back at the corner.
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem, isn't it? When it is bouncy like that and your natural instinct is to counter drop, you know, and it's so marginal. Counter drops are so marginal. You know, if you get them right, they can win you the point. But if you get them a fraction wrong, it's a stroke, or your opponent jumps on it. See if he does something different. Yeah, he played that one out.
Yeah, so he held and punched that away, didn't he? And I think that's probably going to be the better option on this court. I think now he's shown it. He's shown it and been punished a couple of times.
That's a nice dying leg there. I think Abbay's done well here. He's taken control, hasn't he?
Finds himself with 4 game balls here.
That straight ball to me for Bonmalais, that's not quite finding his width and length there. He's attacked with more cross courts and boasts and holds and flicks across than actually attacks straight. That's a stroke though. Feel like Abbay's getting into his rhythm here with nice control. Finishes that game off here. It was quite a controlling rally again, that, wasn't it? It was using some lifts, not easy to do on this court. You know, using some soft paces, and he's kind of encouraging Bonmalais there to play a bit more frenetic and hit with pace, and he's using that pace against him. Quite a clever play there. So first game to Abhay. I think we're going to go to a promotion, Josh, in a few seconds.
Oh, fantastic. I should look forward to that. Yeah,
maybe
I think
not. Maybe they delayed it. In the previous match they did it in 30 seconds.
I'd agree with you there. I think the other thing that stood out was, and you touched on it, Ryder, was just how Abhay was straightening the rallies out using straight lines at the right times. You know, as the rallies were becoming open, he was able to find straight winners, and I think that'll be an interesting bit to watch as we come into the second game. If Bonmalais adjusts to not open the court up as much, or finds his straight lines at the right times.
Yeah, I just felt his intention was good there to sort of increase the pace and play with his skill set of like great movement. But he wasn't quite finding his accuracy, was he, at the back of the court? And, you know, to me, that straight and cross court and short and deep is about balance, isn't it? It's about striking that right sort of percentage balance front and back. And he didn't get it right there. There was too many cross courts and not enough straight balls, too many counter shorts and not enough hitting deep out. But he sort of seemed to be learning his lesson later on in the game. So if he can get that balance right, plus his, you know, intensity, then, you know, he's going to be featuring a lot more in this match. You know, he's going to be controlling a lot more.
That's seamless with the countdown timer back in.
Got a bit of the Sam Todd about him at the moment, Abhay, don't you think? You know, is that sort of relaxed? I've seen the trickle boast, the Sam Todd trickle boast go in with the head fake. Maybe it's not Sam's, or maybe it's Malcolm's. Great retrieve.
Straight to the front of the court here.
Great retrieval, but then one too many counters, wasn't it?
Oh.
That was either brilliant or down.
It looked all right to my eyes, but
my eyes aren't that good. Brilliant,
well,
we're going.
Not all right,
brilliant.
look brilliant. It was like some sort of condition game, that first rally. It was like go short, stay short with a lift out there. That was brutal. Both players looking to use
unbelievable lift on this court.
We're kicking out doing score predictions, Ryder, in that first game, but
No thanks.
not going for that. Nice hold.
Yeah, I mean, rankings-wise, you know, and previous results, you'd sort of say if it was a neutral venue, you'd probably go Bonmalais, wouldn't you? So that's sort of a big advantage. Yeah. Home advantage here. I saw Bonmalais had beaten one of the Salazar brothers last year, and then went 3-2 with the other one within a month. I mean, those are some serious results.
Yeah, it's making some moves. That I think you're right. There's a big home advantage here. I mean, one of the things sometimes that can work against you playing in your home environment. You know, if there's a big crowd and stuff and the pressure of it, but obviously COVID puts a little bit of a different spin on this. Almost behind closed doors, isn't it? It's a bit more of almost like a practice match. Abhay looks very relaxed as well, which is probably
he looks incredibly relaxed, which is what I think of him as. But you know, with so long off matches, you know, there's got to be a lot of pressure on yourself there. I think he looks to be handling it really well. I am quite impressed that there's a bit, you know, I just think that Sebastien has kind of settled a bit into this match here. He is striking a bit of a better balance, and he looks a bit calmer himself in this game, doesn't he? There's more quality, less being flustered. And that's probably one of the first unforced errors from Abhay, do you think? Certainly in this game, but I didn't really see any howlers in the first one. Definitely been a bit of a change here, change of momentum, you know, and it's suiting the Frenchman. You know, I think he's settled down. I think his quality of length hitting has become much better, and he's able to apply a bit more pressure, and actually he's not doing as much of the running. Now we're seeing a couple of errors from Abhay. That's a wild return of serve, really. He's got away with it. Oh. That was a pretty outstanding backhand volley drop there. Played with immaculate touch. There is quite a big nick running down that backhand wall there. I think he found some of it. A lot more patient rallying coming across here. Probably the most patient rallies of the match. Some of the best quality, really. Dying in there. This is getting to that length of rally which is getting physically demanding. I hope Josh has been taking counting number of shots here, but it must be up towards getting towards 100 shots sooner or later, and that's a good shot there.
I've been doing some statistical analysis on the match here, Ryder, and that was
Is that why you went quiet for a bit?
Yeah, I was really struggling to count past 100,000, and once I got close to 1,000,000, it came back into my head. So yeah, good percentage of short balls, long balls as well. About 47.5% short to long that ratio as well.
I think Abhay needed to win that one though. You know, when you're down and you lose a tough rally like that, it can really. You just give him a stroke.
Yeah, I mean that's a let all day long. That one. That's interesting.
The rules changed, Josh.
That's helped him out, hasn't it? That's helped him out. Puts him back at 5-4.
That's an interesting one for me. Well, that's the first lob that Abhay's actually hit out, and he has actually now made 3 errors in this game, hasn't he? So, whereas it was quite rare in the first game. Speaking of which, great little exchange there with Abhay. Couldn't quite finish it off. Pace has gone up a bit here. Yeah, that's a stroke for me.
Yeah, Abhay needed to make more effort to clear that. And this similar situation to where we found ourselves in the first game, very close up to this mid part. End of that first game, Abhay managed to pull away. Just did the same again here.
Yeah, I just think he is gaining control. He's using his hold really well. He's using that height really well. And I think after a very good start actually for Bonmalais, he's slightly lost that quality of length again.
I did feel that more of the cross court came in at the end of the first game, and some of the bit erratic stuff going in short towards the back end of that first game from Bonmalais, and that was where Abhay was quite astute to the situation, stayed a bit straighter, hit his lines and managed to pull away. So it'd be interesting if that same pattern emerges here.
Well, he's done it again, you know. He practices his little Sam Todd's forehand drop shot there as well, just to fine tune it. Read that. Right, it looks like our screens are back up and running. We're just in time for the end of the second game.
Apologies.
We left it at 8-6. I would have been shocked if Bonmalais had got that back that game, to be honest, because Abhay had started really taking control at the end of that second game. And that is indeed the case. And it is 2-love to Abhay, so taking full use of his home advantage here. This could be a rankings upset. I think Abhay is around the 100 mark in the rankings. Actually, he might have slipped down further during lockdown to about 140. And Bonmalais is up at, I think, about 60. So it's a significant upset if he can take this match, take this third game.
Yeah, I can tell you, Ryder, to be precise, it's 149 in the world is Abhay this month, and Bonmalais is 62 in the world. So it would be quite a rankings upset.
Yeah, I think even with Abbay's highest ranking, probably I think it is around 100. Then
Yeah,
it's
103 is his highest
still a
ranking.
significant win, isn't it?
Mm. It'd be a notable win on paper. Be a good one to get across the door. I mean, the pattern was the same there, wasn't it? A very similar pattern in both games of, well, assuming at the back end of the second that it was the same pattern as the first, where both players were with each other for the majority of the first 2/3 of the game, and then Sebastien Bonmalais opened the court up a little bit, and Abhay using his straighter lines and being a bit more clinical to get across the line.
And what do you think Bonmalais needs to do here in this third game to get back in the match?
Yeah, it's a good question. That I think, as I'm looking at it, he's just going a little bit erratic towards the back end of the game and trying to do a bit too much. I think he's still got to be positive when the chance is on, but I think trying to just keep the straighter lines for the back, keep a little bit more structure within it, and make sure that when he's going into the front of the court, he's on top of the rally rather than chucking it in too much. Effectively what he's kind of doing in the first 2/3 of the game, it's just that back end where, to me, it's a bit more erratic, Ryder, and then that's where it's causing a few more chances for Abhay to close the game out.
He doesn't look too happy with himself there, whacking his own head with the racket. He won't get much joy from that kind of loose ball either.
Yeah, effectively it's this kind of stuff, Ryder. I mean, very, very open. I mean, it's fast, but he's hurts himself a lot with this.
Yeah.
Lucky there.
And he's not happy. He is not happy. You know, I mean, like I say, I haven't watched him live a lot, but I've watched a few recordings of him, and I did think the quality was significantly higher than what he's offering here at the moment. But a big part of that is obviously Abbay's quality of shot himself, his control, his hold, weight of shot. You know, sometimes when your plan A isn't working, then plan B is run and run hard and guts it out. And I've got a feeling that Bonmalais might have to do a bit of that, really. He's just got to scrap here until he finds his rhythm. You know, it would be ideal to play with more quality. He does need to play with more quality. But he needs to just get a foothold in this match, really, doesn't he? He needs to get a significant lead. He needs to get a game on the board. You know, and he's just got to fight for that. Sometimes you just have to scrap.
Nice touch from Abhay around the middle there. Yeah, I think there's some quality in there. It's the structure that's standing out to me, Ryder. I think there has been some good quality from Bonmalais, but it's the structure where he's going around. I think it's that discipline of what he's trying to do here that needs very. But you're right, pace has definitely gone up here. Looking intensely at it.
Yeah, he had opportunities there. I mean, really, he had such a big chance around the front and he didn't do enough with it from a backwall post. You know, you've got to be kind of converting those points there, haven't you, in this situation? Good old agricultural hack, what you need from there. Overused that post, I reckon. It hasn't been serving him that well.
Yeah, he's used it a lot. I'd agree with you there. I've had a mixture of just looking at that from back and corner.
That's just a let, is it?
There, right?
Oh, I think that's a stroke
they've
as
gone
well.
for that. I would have gone for the straight, and I think there's been both players have probably been at fault from not being able to play in that corner, plus a bouncy court. So, no, that stroke would certainly clear that out a little bit and make a bit more effort from both.
Nice control that.
Contact there.
In trouble here. He's quick though, isn't he? Look at that. Oh, he's done it again. I mean, that's their favourite shots coming together there, isn't it? So Abhay loves to go for that cross-court nick of his forehand, and then some unbelievable skill there from Bonmalais to divert that across the court, inside out. Yeah, good simple squash that.
Neither player have been afraid to take it on throughout the whole of this match. They're both ball in at will.
Again, that's second bit of very high quality from Bonmalais there. That's like a hold, short swing, change his wrist around, change of direction. It's a lovely shot. Yeah, I think that's a let. He's loose. Good rally this, high quality. Bonmalais taking charge, he just needs more of these rallies. Pretty resilient stuff from Abhay though, isn't it? Oh, it's a shame. He just needs to keep that pressure on, you know. He doesn't have to go for anything spectacular there. He was really hurting him, and then he sort of wasted his opportunity. He just needs to build more and more of those rallies, and that was great pressure.
Yeah, I'd agree, and I think it's that little bit of patience in the work that he's doing is good. Keep him with it. That's fantastic. Across the middle, though. Yeah, the quality was too high for any decision there.
Yeah, that's a lovely time. I mean, this has been now, in the last 5 or 6 rallies, I think there's been some real high quality front corner stuff there from Bonmalais. And really, it's the first time in the match he strung it together. He needed to because he's 2-love down.
First time really Radu, he's found himself with a 2-point cushion as well at an important moment. I know it's just gone there a little bit, but found himself that little bit edge ahead.
Yeah, he wasn't happy about Abhay's movement, and I think Abhay did make the most of that situation there, but ultimately if you leave it short, most players will do that to you. That is a shame. That's a shame. back to 7-all, and this is the position where we've been in this position seemingly 3 times now, and Abhay has stepped up and been immaculate in this phase of the game, hasn't he, so far? So let's see if that happens again.
Yeah, if you're a betting man, you'd probably go with the same scenario happening as the first 2 games, but it's different, isn't it? We talk about closing out a match rather than the game here, whether or not
it is
a bit more starts to equal where Abhay based on this being a big win as well. Get a little bit closer.
Yeah, and I think Bonmalais should have a bit of confidence in the fact of how he's played in this game. He's taken it in a lot better. You know, he's probably got, I suppose, the courage of his convictions now, so when he goes short, he can really commit to that shot. Good, patient, rally-building stuff from both of them here. Oh, has he caught a lucky nick there? The tactical towel.
Yeah, it's become a new tactic, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, what a lovely counter. What a lovely counter. That's really nice control again. He sort of manufactured a stroke bit there, isn't he?
Yeah, I think that's he's done his best to get the stroke out of that, and he's got it. 2 match balls here, Ryder.
2 match balls. And there we go. You can see what it means there. That's a significant win that for Abhay on his return squash. I think the Indians will be happy with that. Well, they'll be over the moon with that to have a player in the next round. Taking his time there, and I think there were 3 pretty much identical games there. Not just the scores, 7, 7, and 8, but kind of how the games panned out with you know, a pretty even battle between the 2 players, and then Abhay just basically he didn't. I don't think he stamped his authority, but he certainly he was very composed in those last phases of the game. Didn't make really any errors, and was able to take that with, I think, quality all-round squash. You know, he stuck to his game plan very well. You know, he wanted to be the disruptor on there, and it was pretty mentally tough. I think that was mentally strong. So yeah, good match, good result for Abhay Singh there.